Has the Tesla Model S Plaid killed shade tree grassroots drag racing and even some upper echelons of drag racing? This has been bugging me for a while. In fact, I first made mention of it the first time we went nines with our electric supercharger. There happened to be a Plaid right there at the track. You know, we might have to do something about that Tesla time. Now, to make things look even worse than they actually were, when we did race the Plaid, we raced it with the electric supercharger off because we weren't there to race other cars. We were there to establish a baseline naturally aspirated and see what the Sledgehammer electric supercharger could actually do. We started out side by side. It didn't matter that she was 2.5 tons and twice as wide. But when it was time to go, she left me behind. She broke my heart, my big-bottomed bride. And because this is a country song, then my dog died. I call it Tears on the Blacktop. Thank you. Tip your waitresses. Now, since we did race the Plaid, we got its time slip. We know what it ran, we know the increments. Now, we also got our own 9-second time slip, not in the same race, but at the same track on the same day. So we can compare the two. Now, check it out. The 60-foot times are pretty much dead nuts on. But once things got rolling, well, the Plaid takes the win and ultimately runs considerably faster. It's like almost 0.8 of a second quicker, which is about 8 car lengths. That is not insignificant. And it puts up a much better mile an hour, but there's some reasons for that. If the LTD had a lockup converter, it'd probably be in the 140s. But it doesn't matter. The Tesla would still beat the LTD, hands down. So the thing about the Plaid, right? There's several factors at play. It's not that expensive for a car at this performance level. In fact, it's kind of dirt cheap. The MSRP for a Plaid now is like $90,000 new. You could get a used one for about half of that. That's in my mind, that's insane. $45,000, $50,000, $60,000 for a car that can run repeatable 9.2 second passes and you can drive it around and it has air conditioning and you can use it as a daily driver. That just blows my mind. But one thing I do want to do is I want to stay away from politics in this video because as we know, Mr. Musk has decided that he's going to... lose his marbles, I guess, but we're not going there, okay? And this is also kind of an interactive video in the sense that I'm gonna put forth like my arguments and my opinions, but I want you guys to chime in and tell me how you feel about the situation. Because that will, to a certain extent, affect how even I progress with the channels. Because obviously one of the goals was to, you know, beat a Plaid with the LTD. Is it really feasible? Is it something I want to do? The LTD will never beat a Plaid on the street. In fact, you could take a Plaid to any no prep, true no prep race and clean house. You know, I know a lot of people think that those cars are blazingly fast, and a lot of them actually are, but they can't put the power to the ground. In fact, where we did our first electric supercharger drag strip test was actually an airstrip where they run no prep drag races. And part of the deal with me actually being able to use that facility was that I agreed to live stream a no prep race. This kind of stuff happened all over the place during that race. So I think most no prep races will not allow you to bring a Plaid because again, you'll destroy everything. You know, it is at the end of the day a 1,000 horsepower car, but it's also all-wheel drive. But it also has computer-aided traction controls, which are just unbeatable. And by the way, before I go any further, y'all know how much I love the AI music stuff. Well, it's not going to be in the middle of this video, but at the end of the video, I made 2 AI songs. One is sort of anti-Tesla Plaid drag racing, and the other one is sort of pro-Tesla Plaid drag racing. And I have to say that my AI music bot is learning. The songs are just getting to be amazing. You're not going to want to miss them. In fact, if you race a Tesla Plaid, honestly, you may want to rip that thing and play it in your Plaid. But definitely check it out. And of course, there's a little moment of Roger at the end of the video, but it's real short. But anyway, getting back to the whole concept of the Tesla Model S Plaid and drag racing it. You know, one of the things that I used to love doing for decades, like my happy place, was going to the racetrack on a Friday night test and tune or Saturday to some event. But mostly I was, you know, a test and tune guy because I was always testing something, whether it was some forced induction solution or some crazy, wacky induction solution in general. Whatever it was I was testing, I wanted to test it and I wanted to get some numbers.
And of course, the wheelie bar marks.
But I'm not gonna lie, I loved being at the racetrack and I loved racing it. But now when some guy can just show up with a plaid and pretty much lay waste to the entire field, and there's no visceral element to the plaid, it doesn't make any significant noise, it's not inspiring, it lacks a lot of what drag racing is. And again, you know, you can plunk down some cash. Of course, all cars are stupidly expensive now, so that price point that I talked about earlier is incredibly cheap, all things considered. But does it take some of the wind out of the sails? I think it does for me a little bit. And there may be a more macro element involved where cars have just gotten so expensive. And, you know, I remember when EFI first came in, everybody complained about it. Oh, we're never going to be able to tune our cars and all that other stuff. Well, that turned out to be pretty much nonsense. In this case, though, I think because you are basically driving a computer, unless you can somehow crack into the source code that controls everything from the power windows to the backup camera to the motors, it's going to be very difficult to work with these things in a hot rodding type of situation. Now, some people have hot rodded it. In fact, one YouTuber, I think Boosted Boys, actually did one thing that I would have done, and that's just start hacking parts off the plaid until it goes faster. Unfortunately, this is what it ended up looking like, but it did end up running like an 8.5. It's you know, that's one way of doing it. Now, I do think electrically there's a few things you could do to a plaid to make it faster. You could measure the voltage drop across the high current cables that go to the motors and figure out how much there is to be had by doubling those up or replacing them with heavier cables. Maybe you could do some mechanical type of timing adjustment on the motors themselves. I'm not going to get into the details of that, but yes, electric motors do have timing and you can adjust it. But given the performance of the plaid against even other high-performance electric vehicles like the Lucid Air Sapphire, which does make more horsepower than the plaid, out of the hole, the plaid will beat it. Tesla just did something right as far as that's concerned. And as most people will tell you, a drag race is won at the first 60 feet. Now, the plaid doesn't just run 9.2s on a prep track. Yes, it does, but on an unprepped track without all the battery preconditioning and without the cheetah stance that it's known for, I've seen these things still run 9.6s, 9.8s. Heck, I've seen one go in the mid-upper 10s in the rain. Good luck with that with any other car. So how do you all feel about the plaid? Is drag racing in general something that you are not super interested in? Is it more about power, performance? Is it more about the development of the different technologies? Like, again, you know, you're watching my channel, electric supercharger stuff in this case. Is that really what floats your boat? Or is it that just because any, you know, dentist who's never taken a car down the track can go to his local dealership, pick one up, and like I said before, just lay waste to everybody at the racetrack with his plaid with absolutely no drag racing experience? I mean, you could leave so horribly badly and still beat almost everything at the track. But now we're going to turn to the two songs, and trust me, you don't want to miss these, especially the Pro-Plaid track, which I'm going to put at the end. And my AI just like halfway through the song just lost its mind. It's like it took a bunch of whatever the computer AI version of drugs is and just channeled a whole bunch of genius and just threw it all in there at the end. Anyway, check it out. I'll put the lyrics up and I'll put the artwork that the AI generated for each song as visuals so you can kind of follow along and have something to look at. But seriously, let me know down below. I'm really dying to know what you all think.
Oh, here comes the plaid, I'm bored already. It's like a fart, silent but deadly. Yeah, it's fast, but no one stares. It's an appliance, no one cares. No engine scream, no shifting gears. You're not driving, you're bored to tears. It's all so lame, there's no skill. Where's the rush in this sleeping pill? Racing a plaid, what's the point? All you do is bore the joint. No roar, no cry, no feel, no guts. Just a boring sprint by a guy with no nuts. Yeah, it's fast, but it's got no soul. It's computers, you have no control. Plaid's just a battery on wheels. Racing's about the rush you feel. 0 to 60, blink thinking it's done, but it's like winning without any fun. No rumble, no shake, no burning rubber, just a lifeless zap like any other. You got speed, but where's the sound? All that power, but nothing profound. It's just a pod, it's just a flash. Racing a plaid is spending cash. Racing a plaid, what's the point? All you do is bore the joint. No roar, no grind, no feel, no guts, just a boring sprint by guy with no nuts. Yeah, it's fast, but it's got no soul. It's computers, you have no control. Plaid's just a battery on wheels. Racing's about the rush you feel. No late night grind, just plug it in and leave it behind. No revs, no heat, no shaking frame, just click and go, it's all the same. Give me the growl, give me the fire, not this robot in fancy attire. Real cars are built, not bought in haste. Racing's an art, not just a taste. Racing a plaid, what's the point? All you do is bore the joint. No roar, no grind, no feel, no guts, just a boring sprint by guy with no nuts. Yeah, it's fast, but it's got no soul. It's computers, you have no control. Plaid's just a battery on wheels. Racing's about the rush you feel.
Me and my plaid, we're into drag. Racing at the track, someone call me a hey, I'm a great guy, a virtue signal with pride. Hey pal, you checking me out or you checking my ride? You think I can't race because I drive a Tesla? I don't have to think because the Tesla will mess ya. There may be no skill needed to get down the track, but it runs the number back to back. Cheetah stance, cheetah stance. Everyone get in your cheetah stance. Cheetah stance, cheetah stance. Everyone get in your cheetah stance. Don't look now, there's a surprise in my frunk. What's that you smell? It might be my junk. In my frunk, my junk in my frunk might have some funk in my frunk. Frunk, 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 frunk. Shut up. My electrons pulse, they throb and they vibe. In and out of my beds, they go like Astro Glide. Racing's a rainbow and I'm on the spectrum. You do it with gas and I do it with electrons. We're not that different, you and I, except I'm better than you, thus a plaid I buy. Cheetah stance, cheetah stance. Everyone get in your cheetah stance. Cheetah stance, cheetah stance. Everyone get in your cheetah stance. No, I can't mod it, unlike you, but I plug it into a supercharger, sorta like you. I pay Musk for the privilege of charging my ride. In fact, I need to be careful or I'll shut down my ride. Remotely powered by hopes and unicorns, my battery's full. Say what about my panel gaps? I'm gonna gap you, fool. And of course I know how to use tools. I can beat and whack with the best of you fools. Cheetah stance, cheetah stance. Everyone get in your cheetah stance. Cheetah stance, cheetah stance. Everyone get in your cheetah stance. Won every race, now it's time for bed. This song is over cause my battery is dead. Now it's time for bed. This song is over cause my battery's dead. Dead. won every race, now it's time for bed. This song is over cause my batteries